How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to SCC for another episode. So today I'm getting ready for the prep for installing an engine. One of the main things that I want to do that I haven't really done in my past builds is really take care of the raw metal parts and paint them. So on the engine mounting plate here, you see in the bottom you have your two black pieces, but everything else is just raw metal. So your main mounting plate here and then your brackets. So what I'm going to be showing you today is how to paint the main bracket. I'm going to wait until it's mounted and then just do a lot of masking to take care of these. Reason being is I don't want to paint the brackets now because once I tighten them onto the frame, they're going to flex a little bit and bend. So if I paint them now and then tighten everything down, when they bend, it's going to start cracking the paint. It's just going to flake off. So the main thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do the main plate here. There's really not going to be any flex or anything to this, so this is safe to paint. If you're going to be looking for a video that's going to show you how to do award-winning show quality paint jobs, this is definitely not going to be the video. As you know, on all my builds I go high-end parts all the way. I'm not afraid to spend an extra couple bucks to get something that's good. But when it comes to painting, there's no sense, at least in my opinion, in going to a body shop or any other kind of shop to have these parts powder coated or anything like that, unless you're really doing a show quality bike. I painted some parts in the past with just your basic rattle can paint, and it's turned out well, and it's held up under a lot of cleanings, pressure washing, things like that. So I'm going to show you the basics on how to do a simple paint job the right way, with very simple things. Obviously your paint. So I have primer here, I have the color, and then I have the clear coat. And then also sanding block, some Tack Cloth, and a coat hanger. So let's get right into it. I'll show you how to do a simple quality paint job and something that's going to hold up over the test of time. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to take a regular sanding block, just a foam sanding block. It's 120 grit sandpaper. You don't need anything crazy. You're not trying to sand valleys into the metal. You're just trying to take the burrs off and any really sharp edges where it comes to an angle, like on a point or anything like that. You just want to knock that down a little bit, because if you have a little bit of a curve to it, that's going to give the paint a little bit more area to bond and allow less of a weakness for dirt and things to get in under the paint and start flaking it back. So you're just going to go over, knock all the edges down, the points, and then also just go over the metal lightly all over. The only thing you're trying to do is take any dirt, oil, grease, things like that off, and then also any oxidation, rust, anything like that that might be on there. Just trying to knock that down a little bit and give the paint a little bit of a grip to stick to. So if it's a little bit roughed up, then the paint will have a little bit more to grip to, and that's going to be better for if you're pressure washing, anything like that. It'll hold up better over the test of time. Okay, so as you can see, I did everything around and it's got a totally different look to it. It's a lot shinier. So there was a lot of oxidation and junk on there, and you can even see on the table here all that stuff that came off. So that's all stuff that if you would have left it on there, that paint wouldn't have bonded to. It's very easy to fall off. So really important step on it. And the reason I didn't use regular sandpaper and actually use a sanding block is, I mean, these are just stamped parts. They're really just kind of run through the assembly line, so a lot of times you're going to have metal slivers or anything like that sticking out. So using a foam sponge gave me a lot of room where if it did pick up a sliver, it went in here instead of in here. So, because those hurt like a bitch. Okay, so next step, one thing that I don't have the luxury of is an actual paint booth or anything like that. Now you've all heard that saying, happy wife, happy life. If I were to paint inside and the wife were to come home and have the entire house smelling like spray paint, it's safe to assume that she would not be a happy wife, and it's even safer to assume that I would not have a happy life. So One thing I do have, fortunately, is I have heated underground parking. Unfortunately, it's not the ideal temperature. Runs right around 55 to 60 degrees when it should be up around mid to high 70s for painting. So what I'm going to do for the first coat, since this first coat is extremely important, is I'm going to give it a little bit of a jump start. So I hope you like this little hack. Okay, so what I'm doing is I just put the bracket in the oven for a little bit. I'm not going to get it too hot. I just want it a little bit warmer so that paint will really bond to it to kind of make up for the temperature. So I'm going to actually paint this in underground parking where it's about just a little bit under 6 degrees. So if I can have the mounting plate a little bit warmer, that's really going to make that first coat stick to it a lot better and not stink up the whole house with paint fumes, which is going to make my life much happier. Okay, next thing you're going to do is if you have a wire coat hanger laying around, just undo the coat hanger so it's one straight piece of wire, and then you're going to put a hook on each end. That way you can hang this up and paint pretty much the whole way around on your bracket. So you're just going to hang it through one of these slots, then hang it up, hang it from wherever you can. That way you can paint the entire thing instead of putting it flat, painting this side, then putting it over on this side, painting that side. You run your risk of ruining a paint job. So if you can hang it up, you can hit the whole thing all the way around with each coat the first time. So it's going to save you some time in the long run. Okay, next step of the process, right before you're ready to put paint on it, you're going to take some tack cloth. You can get this pretty much anywhere, any auto parts store, even Home Depot, Menards. Super cheap and readily available pretty much all the stores. So you're going to just wipe it down really good. Tack cloth is just that, tacky. So that's going to take anything that your sanding block left behind, any dust, anything like that, and really clean it up and give it a really good, clean piece of metal for the paint to stick to. Now I even know that I wiped this off before, or right after I was done sanding it. Wiping it off with a tack cloth, as you can see, you got a lot more stuff off there. So now we're ready to take it down, hang it up, and start painting. Alright, my apologies for the lighting here. As I mentioned before, I'm doing this in a parking garage, so not the best lighting. So basically what you're going to do is you're just going to hold your paint can probably about 8 to 12 inches away and just super light coats. So you're not going for speed here. Just put a very light coat on. It doesn't even have to cover all the metal. Let it dry, and then come back, put another light coat on, let that dry fully, and then just keep on going like that. That way that paint has a time to cure. You're not going to get into runs or bubbling or fish eyes or anything like that. So be patient and take your time, and it'll turn out just fine. Okay, so the first coat of primer is on, and like I said, by hanging it, I was able to get every single angle of that bracket. So there's no flipping it over or delays like that. It's super simple, just hang it up, spray a light coat on, and just let it dry now. Drying time depends on your conditions. Like in this condition, it's going to take a little while since it's a little bit under 60 degrees. However, it was warmed up a little bit before I came down, so it should dry. Give it about 20 or 30 minutes. It should be dry to the touch. When you do touch it in like a corner or something where it's really not going to matter if you do get a fingerprint in it or something. Another thing I forgot to mention is when you're doing the tack cloth, make sure that you hold it in a certain way where there's no areas that your fingers are going to touch it after the tack cloth. So start on this side with the tack cloth, holding it on that side, and then when you finish with the tack cloth, finish off on that side, using the tack cloth to actually wrap around and hold it. Reason being that if your fingers touch it, the oils and grease from your skin are going to get on there, and that's what's really going to mess the paint up. A lot of times that's going to cause fish eyes. So just be really careful when you're prepping it. Okay everyone, back from paint, decent coat of primer, covered all the bare metal, 2 coats of black after that, and then 1 decent coat of clear coat, covered everything. Pretty decent. Like I said in the beginning, it's not going to be perfect, it's not going to be show quality, but I got the underside, all the sides, edges, everything like that, and it's got a fairly decent gloss to it. It's, like I said, not perfect, but for about 15 bucks with all the paint, tack cloth, the whole 9 yards, I can do this part and all the other parts. So I'll be doing my chain tensioners, I'll be doing the main shaft for the wide crank set, all that. So turned out good, and this will hold up just fine. Like I said, in my last couple builds I had this, or I did some parts with this same treatment, and it held up to pressure washing, hand waxing, things like that. So there it is. Okay everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. Got the pieces back on the engine mount, and it actually turns out that the bracket that I painted actually turned out a lot better than what the pieces were originally, as far as the black pieces. So once I get this all together, it's really going to look good. It's really going to blend in well, so I'm excited for that. Next video, we're going to be going over engine install, so I'll give a detailed how-to video on how to properly install a 4-stroke engine on this frame. What to do and what not to do. Also give a little bit of a trick on how to cut down vibration a little bit and keep things nice and neat for the install. So excited for that. If you like this video and you like all the other videos, then please show your support. Like, share, and subscribe. Like I mentioned before, the comments, for some reason I can't respond to all the comments, so please, if you want to get a message to me, links, anything like that, then you can also hit me up at sinistercustomcycles@gmail.com. Or if you want to keep up with smaller updates, or you want another way to message me, you can go to facebook.com/SCCMN. Alright guys, until next time, thank you again very much, and enjoy your holidays. We'll see you next time.